Harmony, I just finished up work, so I'll be coming home now. Did you make dinner for me?
Hello, Duncan. I just finished making dinner a few hours ago, so it's ready to eat when you come home. Will you eat it right when you come through the door?
I think so. Did Kyle already finish all his dinner?
He did. I made sure this time. He and I ate right after I finished cooking. Did you want to eat with him or something?
No, actually. I don't want to see Kyle's face right now, so that's good he ate dinner already. When I get home, tell that boy not to come out of his room at all.
Hey, why are you being so rash right now? I'm sure you're a little upset right now about him having failed his last test, but it's not the end of the world. I'm sure he already knows as well that he messed up, so you don't have to make him feel any worse about it.
Well, he made me feel bad. All of that time spent helping him study was for what? I can't believe after a whole year of being in that school with my help, he failed that freaking test. How dare he? I want all that time I spent teaching him back now.
Would you stop talking like that? He is your son, and he tried his very best. And you yourself were telling him that it's not a big deal if he passed that test or not, right? Now you're going to get all angry about it as though you were lying to him that whole time?
It doesn't matter if that test meant much, because he failed it. My family has all been known for being very well educated. I myself made it through grade school with straight A's, and then went on to a very prestigious university. And you went there as well, right? I will not have the son of two very well intelligent and educated people like us fail any test. I said that the test wasn't that important, but I did not say that he can fail it that badly. He shouldn't have failed it at all. Are you going to tell me that you forgave him for what he did?
I really don't want to have to bring this up to you, but the reason that Kyle failed that test was because of you. You have no right to be ignoring what you did and blaming him for everything.
Huh? Why was that my fault? No matter how you look at it, it's the boy's fault.
And it's that reason right there, because you always have to blame someone for everything that Kyle did not pass the test. I get that it was his last test of the year, but you were pushing him so hard, having him study every single night for 2 to 3 hours straight. That looked more like you bullying the poor kid than anything else.
I did all of that for his sake. And well, I never thought that he was that much of an idiot though. I will apologize for not realizing that about him sooner. Ha ha ha.
Do you have any idea how many times you made your son cry by forcing him to study like that all the time? You never let him go out to see any of his friends. That kid has been studying for pretty much 1 whole year for a test that literally did not matter because his grades were already fine. And the other thing that's really not okay here is that he's only a 6th grader. Who really cares about his grades when he's in elementary school?
I told you that was all for his sake. If he doesn't start to become perfect now, then he's never going to be a useful adult in the future. So he has no time to be going out and playing anymore.
You have been doing all of this to our son without even listening to what I've had to say, right? And this is the result of it. Your son breaking down and failing his last test of the year. Kyle has started to avoid looking at you whenever you're both home together. Do you really think that's a good thing for either of you?
It's because you keep spoiling the kid that he's turned into an idiot. You are a failure as a mother for acting that way. The only two to blame here for his failures are you and him.
Why are you not able to think about the way your son feels? Looking at his face nowadays, he seems so hollow and sad. And when he even has to be in the same room as you, he freezes up and looks as though he's living in the gulag. You are the one who has failed at being a decent father for doing this to him.
I come from a family of very well-educated people. He was the one that started to dirty our reputation, so it's only right that he acts that way now. And now, I'm going to make sure he's aware of just how badly he screwed up. An idiot like him will no longer be my son.
I cannot believe you are taking things this far. The fact that you even have the nerve to say something like that is far beyond me.
I'm just being honest about things. There's no way my son should be that stupid. Could that be because he's not my son at all? Ha ha ha.
You asshole. I'm done talking to you. Don't even bother coming home tonight. I don't want to see your face anymore.
That's the way I feel about you now, too. I'll go find myself a hotel to stay at tonight, and then I'll be going right back into work tomorrow.
Please do that. And while you're at it, work on calming yourself down a little so that I'll allow you to come back home. I just want you to stop acting like such a jerk and maybe take a long second to think about your son for a change.
Harmony, I'm sorry about yesterday night. I became so upset then, I couldn't control everything I said. I'm sorry.
Were you able to take some time and think about how Kyle feels?
Yes, I was able to calm myself down after some time, and that's when I put some thought into him. I know now that what I had been doing to and saying about Kyle was very wrong, and I am sorry for all of that.
I don't want to ask this, but are you being serious about what you're saying right now? It's only been a day, yet you're already saying you've thought it all through and are sorry for everything?
I understand why you'd ask that, but I have really thought about a lot of things all night long. I know that I've been forcing you and Kyle to live with my views on how things should be run for a long time now. That's what I think now.
If you really have thought about all your wrongs, then I guess we're okay now. But it's only been one day since then, so I'm not sure just how much I can believe you.
And I can totally understand feeling that way. That's why I think the best way to go about this is by showing you that I've thought this all over and I'm sorry.
Showing me would be the easiest to understand. I'm sure for Kyle that would be the best way of getting him to forgive you as well. But what exactly do you plan to do that'll show the both of us that you're sorry and that you'll never do those things again? Saying you'll do something is the easy part, but actually doing said things will be far harder, right?
Well, to start, I'll make sure to show both of you that I really am sorry for last night. I understand that saying sorry is not much, but at the very least, it's a start.
I suppose that's true. And what else?
For the time being, I won't say anything about how Kyle studies. And I'll stop trying to avoid him as well. I'll make sure to be around him as a father and nothing else.
You are aware that both myself and Kyle are still not going to be able to trust you fully yet, right? I really hope you continue to just act as his father and nothing else.
I am the one that ended up corrupting my family's values. But I'll make sure that in order to change how I value my son, to work hard at that change every day.
I see. Well, that's really good to hear. I'm still not sure how well all of this is going to work out for you, but hearing you say that, it fills me with a tiny amount of hope. But just know that if things don't start to change with you, then I'll have to put in a lot more thought about you as well.
A lot more thought about me?
Listen, Duncan, in all honesty, I was starting to think that if you didn't get your behavior together after last night, then I'd have to divorce you.
What? Are you serious?
That's how badly the way you've been treating our son has impacted me. And that's why I thought to myself if you weren't going to change for the better, that I'd have to do something about it. And a divorce was the plan.
Wait, but something like that? You can't be that serious about a divorce.
You have learned what you've done wrong and are going to start changing now, right? So then there's really nothing to worry about anymore.
I understand that, but I just felt like things came too close there then.
I want you to know that you shouldn't feel safe just yet. Next time something like yesterday happens, I'm not even going to think about whether or not to divorce you. That next time, I'll choose that option almost immediately.
Understood. So this means that I really did something terrible yesterday. I will keep note of that.
As long as you don't forget about what I've said just now, then we'll be all right. Now I have to start getting into work here. You have work yourself now, right? I think it's time for you to start heading in.
Well, about that. I was thinking about making some time for Kyle today, so I went and took the day off. I feel that in order to get you both to trust me again, it's better to start now than later.
Wait, but today Kyle has school. You knew that, right?
I'm sorry, but I'll have him come home from school today. Then him and I can spend the whole day together.
Just the two of you? That doesn't make me feel too comfortable. I'm a little bit worried about how he might feel around you still.
I told you that today my mom would be coming over, right? I'll have her come a little sooner to be around us. Then it will be just the three of us and not just Kyle and I. That should be fine, right?
Well, if your mom is there, I suppose it's fine. But you better not say or do anything wrong to Kyle then. You understand what would happen if you do anything to him, right?
I understand very well what'll happen. I told you that I thought about everything and that I'm very sorry now, right? You can at least trust me a little bit with that, all right?
I'm going to talk with your mom about this just for my own heart's sake.
If you're still that worried, then go right ahead. Now, can you call Kyle's school and tell them that he'll be staying home today? I'll be home in a few to take care of him.
Juliana, excuse me. I was finally able to take my lunch and get my phone. How have Duncan and Kyle been today? Harmony! Oh, thank goodness! I was just about to start trying to get a hold of you. What's going on there? Kyle fell down the stairs at your place. We had an ambulance called for him, and right now he's in the hospital. What? He's in the hospital? How is Kyle doing right now? Is he going to be all right? He still isn't woken back up. Right now, the doctor is with him in the ICU and working on him. Harmony, you need to hurry up and come here quickly. Of course, I'll be right over there. Duncan is there with you guys as well, right? I haven't been able to get anything from Duncan all day. I tried texting him, and then I tried calling him, and he's replied to neither of those things. Today, Duncan and Kyle were both together, right? Do you have any idea where he went? Actually, I only just made it over a little bit ago. When I arrived at the apartment building, the ambulance was already there, and I saw Kyle being taken out. I'm not sure what happened with Duncan, but I knew I needed to focus on Kyle for the time being. But this morning when I spoke with you, you said you'd be over to the house as soon as you could, right? And, well, after I was on the phone with you, I got a call from Duncan. He told me it'd be better for me to come around noon. All right, I see. Well, for the time being, let's just forget about Duncan then. Right now, we have to be focused on how Kyle is doing. That's right. So please, get here as quickly as you can. Yes, I'm working on that right now. I'll be there really soon. I am beyond shocked. Why are you in the same hospital as Kyle right now? Your mom was telling me the whole time that she wasn't able to get any kind of a response from you.
There was no way I could get back to her during everything. I was being taken into the hospital at the time and didn't know where I placed my phone.
I understand that, Duncan, but tell me why things turned out this way. Not only is Kyle in the hospital, but you are too? Something has gone very wrong here, and I want to know what happened.
You're telling me? I never thought that Kyle would ever do something as crazy as he did. How could that kid even be considered my son at this point? He is messed up.
Kyle is... What did Kyle do?
Before we talk about that, there's something I have to ask you. How is Kyle doing right now? Right now you were with him, making sure he is doing okay, right? Has he woken up or anything yet?
Well, at this point, he is still being cared for by the doctors and nurses. He had a terrible fall down the stairwell at the apartment building. Luckily, there were not too many other injuries to the rest of his body besides his head, but it will take a lot of time before he can be released.
I see. Well, at least he's still not in life-threatening condition.
But things are still not okay, Duncan. Kyle is still in that room and is barely even conscious.
And the only reason why you think things are worse than I do is because you have no idea what happened.
What happened then, Duncan?
On that day, him and I left the apartment to go and get something for lunch. But then, my mom told me she'd be coming to the apartment, so him and I started to head back. And as we were going up those stairs, he shoved me down them. I don't even want to think of him as my son anymore.
Kyle did that? Why would he do something like that to you?
I'm sure he was pissed about his final test results still. And just as I was getting around to realizing all the pain I'd caused him, this happened. I'm sorry, but I can't deal with you and that brat anymore.
Then what are you going to do?
Once he gets out of this hospital, I'll have my mom start taking care of him. Something like that actually happened between us. You shouldn't be against my choice, right?
Look, Duncan, you told me quite a few things just then that really make no sense at all to me. You're the jerk that pushed him down those stairs. Don't you dare blame my son for something you did ever again, you freak.
What? What's gotten into you, Harmony? What just happened?
Don't ask me what just happened. I was waiting for you to apologize to me for what you'd done, yet instead you started to tell me he pushed you down those stairs? How about you get some sleep before you start to say crap like that? Because so far the only words I'm hearing from your mouth are in your dreams.
Wait, no. I'm telling you the truth right now. Really? After that happened to me, you're still going to take the side of that brat? Look at the bigger picture, for God's sake. What would be the point of me doing something like that to him?
I'm sure there are plenty of reasons for what you did, one of them being that he failed his final test.
And I told you that I didn't care about that anymore. I said that from here on out, I'd make things right between him and I. So why would I do something like that to him?
You've been wanting to do that to him, right? You wanted to show me just how sorry you were, right? And that meant you going home and abusing my little boy? You wanted him out of the family after he failed that test, and that's why you did that to him.
Huh? What are you going on about right now? Seriously? You're starting to go just as crazy as he is. I get that I'm not the perfect father, but I'm still his dad. I would never ever do anything that would harm my son.
And that's what I thought myself as well. I believed that no matter how much you hated your son, you would never do anything to hurt him. That's why I was okay in the end with you spending the day with him alone. Even though your mom was coming home later, I was going to be all right with it.
Right. And you still believe that? So stop saying such BS lies about me when you don't even have the evidence to back it up.
But the thing is, Duncan, I have the evidence. I have security footage of you clearly pushing our son down those stairs.
There's no way in hell you have something like that.
Well, unfortunately, I do. You might have never known about this, but a while back, I had told you about how the apartment complex would be installing security cameras all throughout the building. And, well, they got all those cameras installed a few weeks ago.
They had cameras installed?
At first, the building owner was just talking about having them installed at the front entrance. But many people started to ask that they be installed at stairwells and elevators, too. And that's how you were able to be caught clear as day, shoving Kyle down those stairs.
That's just the camera's fault. I'm sure that the angling was just off and it made it seem as though I pushed him. And that's why you're blaming me for his fall now?
Are you serious?
Of course. And here's another thing. Even if I had pushed him down those stairs, then why did I end up falling down those stairs too? No matter how you try and frame all of this on me, what makes you think I'd force myself down those stairs too on my own?
As he was falling down the first step, he grabbed a hold of you and got you off balance, right? And that's how you ended up falling with him. It's all in that video, Duncan. Are you really going to continue trying to make up excuses against the hard evidence?
I told you that the camera's angle was bad. The video it took just made it seem as though I pushed him.
Then why were you telling your mom to wait until noon to come? Why couldn't she have just come first thing in the morning like she'd said?
That's because those things changed on my schedule, and I couldn't have her come in earlier in the day. I was just asking her to come later on for my sake.
Oh, is that so? So you're telling me that it was just a coincidence that you asked your mom to come right after your son pushed you down all those stairs? And then it was just a coincidence that the time she showed up was right as the ambulance arrived? That's pretty amazing how well everything lined up.
That's just how things played out, so stop trying to pick my brain over it. I'm telling you that I never expected my own flesh and blood to do such things to me. I don't want to tell the police or anything about this, but I'd like to distance myself from him. Shouldn't that be fine with you?
We'll see. I'm just a little stuck on the whole thing about how what Kyle has told me and what you're telling me is all completely different.
Huh? What Kyle's told you?
Did I not mention that? Kyle's awake. And that's who I learned about everything from first.
Kyle's the one that did all of this, so of course he'd lie about what happened.
This wasn't just what he told me, though. The police are totally agreeing with his story after they looked at the security footage. So are you going to keep telling me it was Kyle who did all of that to you?
The police? Did you actually? You called the police?
Well, after hearing Kyle's story, I had to make sure the criminal was taken care of. Anyway, whatever other excuses you have now can wait. The police would be more than happy to listen to them when they come to get you. They're already on their way to your room right now, so just hang tight.
Wait a second, Harmony. I am still healing right now. And also, if they take me away, you'll be in trouble yourself, right?
If you really weren't to blame for any of this, then why are you starting to get all worked up now? You can calm down and have a little chat with them is all. You seem to really think you did nothing wrong, so let's see if they can agree with that. Although I'm not too sure they will. After that, the police that arrived to talk with Duncan ended up taking him into custody and moved him out of the hospital. He didn't really get all too hurt anyway in his fall down those stairs and was only in the hospital to get some x-rays done, and that was it. So the doctors had no problem with the police taking him away and actually encouraged it after hearing about what he did to Kyle. After being taken into the police station, he was shown the footage of him pushing Kyle down the stairwell, and then asked one last time if he'd done it or not. At that point, he confessed, and with that, the police told him he wouldn't be going anywhere for some time and would have to get nice and comfortable in a jail cell. Of course, after all that Duncan had done to my little boy, this led to me divorcing him. I'm not sure what's happened to him since being locked up in a county jail, because I cannot be asked to go there and visit, so who knows if he's doing all right or not. The only thing I've heard about from the police is that he continues to blame Kyle for all that's happened, saying that if Kyle had never failed that simple test, he wouldn't be in jail. However, in my eyes, along with everyone else's, the education that one has means nothing when you never learned how to think about others and their feelings, and go to all lengths to cause harm to those that you chose not to understand. So, really, you could say that Kyle is even smarter than his own dad, and honestly, I completely agree with that now. After what had happened to him, Kyle had to spend a few weeks in the hospital as the doctors made sure his head was healing up okay. But after being released from there, he was then able to join some of his old friends and enjoy their summer break before he entered his first year as a middle schooler. Now he's in 7th grade, and so far has been excelling at all of his schoolwork, while also having some time to spend with his friends. It seems that even after all the things his dad did to him, both physically and mentally, Kyle is able to move on and enjoy his life, with none of that holding him back. And seeing that makes